How's it going, and welcome back to the Marvel Snap video here on YouTube. In addition to the Garbage Fire Nexus events update and all the monetization changes that happened last night, we also got some game balance updates. The text was changed on a number of cards, and the balance team continues to impress me with not only identifying cards that seem like they're problematic, but also making updates or side grades to cards that I wasn't quite expecting, but I'm pleasantly surprised to see and seem very reasonable in practice. Let's go ahead and dive on into the details here today, shall we? So to start, America Chavez was brought down a single point of power. She used to be 10 power for 6 mana. She's now 9 power for 6 mana. I think this is a really good change. This card adds consistency to every deck that she's put in, since she effectively gives you an 11 card deck to draw from for the first 5 turns of the game. And she overshadowed a lot of other 6-drops in various archetypes. And I think this change brings her more in line in terms of power level with a lot of the other 6-drops in the game. Ebony Maw gained an extra power, going from a 1 mana 6 power card to a 1 mana 7 power card. I don't know if that makes this card playable. It definitely seems like one of the tougher things to play, since you need to basically lock yourself out of a location early on, and giving your opponent kind of heads up information on the table. Hey, this is all I'm going to have in this spot. Gives them a lot of info for those last 2 turns of the game. Perhaps if there's a Spectrum deck in the format, this extra step up to Ebony Maw could be helpful there, but who knows? Up next, we have Ghost Rider, who I called one of the most powerful cards in the game in the previous patch, has been increased to 4 mana. I think this change is really, really good. The thing that this notably does is you will now no longer be able to play Lady Sif and Ghost Rider both together on turn 5. You're either going to have your entire turn 6 take up these 2 cards for your play, or you're going to have to stagger them out over the course of a couple turns, which gives your opponent a little bit more information and ability to have counterplay. So another good change overall. Khazar was brought down a power, now a 4 mana 4 power card. Almost assuredly still very good, but just a little bit less strong itself, obviously. Okoye was changed from a 1 mana 1 power card to a 2 mana 2 power card. It's an interesting change, so obviously costs more mana, but this does mean she still provides the same total amount of power that her base card did. So if you assume you're going to draw 4 cards after you play her on turn 2, she's effectively adding 6 power to your board for just 2 resources, which is still a pretty good rate. Expect Okoye to definitely still be very playable. Scarlet Witch was side graded from a 1 mana 2 power card to a 2 mana 3 power card. I like this. I think this makes her a little bit better in those kind of like domino mid-range style decks that I've really enjoyed. The fact that she now plays cleanly alongside Killmonger for those interactive decks is a big deal as well. So enjoy this change also. Scorpion was previously a 3 mana 3 power card, now a 2 mana 2 power card. And if you assume you're hitting, 3 cards in your opponent's hand that they were likely to play out over the course of the game, it's effectively a 5 power 2 mana card, which is a very good rate. Finally, Strong Guy here says ongoing, if your hand is empty, gets +6 power, is now a 4 mana 4 power card, which was previously a 2 mana 3 power card. So technically not a strict downgrade, but definitely worse than it was prior. It's also important to note that because this card is being played in a deck that wants to empty its hand, it being a 4 mana card means emptying your hand is more difficult. So you're going to be able to play fewer other high cost cards to meet this card's requirement. I think this was a good change overall. I said finally, but actually the last one here is Jubilee, who now says, on reveal, play a card from your deck at this location. This is a meaningful change because the way America Chavez rules text would work often let Chavez floating on top of your deck, which meant if you put Jubilee and Chavez into any given deck, you had upwards of a 70% chance of Jubilee on turns 4 and 5 to flip Chavez into play, effectively making Jubilee a 4 mana 11 power play. The developer said this was never their intention for this card, regardless of power level, so they've updated it to work differently with those. I think that's a good change overall. Jubilee's kind of a sweet kind of variance by design card, and making her this hyper consistent just stat stick on 4, I think was very dry and uninteresting. I'm looking forward to building decks with her ahead of time. As we wrap up, I would just like to say, if you have thoughts on the monetization, let me know, and not on this video, but on the video where I went over the breakdown of the Nexus events. Definitely remember to let the devs know about your feedback on that, so hopefully we can get some improvements there. Thanks for watching as always. I'll be back real soon with some more Marvel Snap content here on YouTube.